I'm good, Jeff. I already turned it on.
Okay. How's it going? Good to see you. How close can you go? Am I good?
Oh, no. I'm just, yeah.
So we'll go with the 10-9.
Well, no, I've already turned it on.
Good.
Yeah, I can trim it out. Thank you.
So we'll get started. Well, good evening and welcome to the School Board Candidate Forum for the West Contra Costa Unified School District. This event is being sponsored by the League of Women Voters for West Contra Costa and the West Contra Costa Unified School District. Tonight, our candidates will have 2 minutes to make an introduction. They will have 2 minutes to respond to each question that's posed, and then they will also have 2 minutes as a closing statement. Tonight, we're pleased to have with us Otheree Christian from District 2, Guadalupe Enllana, also from District 2, and from District 1, Jamela Smith Folds. We have a candidate running in District 3, Cinthia Hernandez. Ms. Hernandez just had a baby, so I think we will give congratulations to her and welcome her and her new baby. She's not here with us for obvious reasons. So we're going to start with District 1 candidate, Jamela Smith Folds, and give her 2 minutes for an opening statement. Ms. Folds, the floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jamela Smith Folds. I'm the school board trustee for Area 1. Area 1 is Hercules, Pinole, and a little bit of the unincorporated Richmond. I've been on the school board since 2020. I'm a mother of 3 daughters. I'm a teacher, and I'm an advocate for not taking your voice to the board because you all have a voice. It's for turning up the volume on educational issues. It has been my honor and my pleasure to serve on the board. I'm currently serving as the board president. I was born and raised in Alabama, which is a joy for me to say, and I still don't consider myself a Californian because you eat avocado and you do things like turkey bacon. That's just not me. So thank you again for this opportunity. I look forward to answering your questions, and you can also feel free to reach out to me, and I can provide my phone number and direct email address. I am complete. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Folds. Mr. Christian, District 2, you have an opportunity, 2 minutes.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Otheree Christian, and I am the current board member of Area 2 of WCCUSD, and I am running for my re-election. And I am a product of the Richmond area, born and raised, grew up here. Attended Martin Luther King, Adams, and Kennedy High School, and then I finished there and went to Howard University, Washington, D.C., graduated with my BA degree in Administration of Justice, Political Science, and then went to Southwestern Christian College with my degree in Bible Religious Education. And so, with that being said, I am committed to education of the district. I worked in the district over 20 years, between 15 and 20 years, here in this district, working to improve, working at Oswego High School. And then I ran for the board in 2020, and then 2020 won the election, and I've been serving from 2020 to presently now. And so I am running to win, and I am confident and trusting in the Lord Almighty. And so, and the thing is, there's so much needs to finish up, and so much needs to happen. And so, with the challenges that we have faced, you need an experienced person to be able to handle the wheels on day one. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Christian. Ms. Enllana.
Hello everyone, my name is Guadalupe Enllana, and I am running for WCCUSD Board of Trustees for area number 2. That's the Richmond area. I was born to immigrant parents that came here from Mexico in search of a better life for themselves and their family. I was born and raised in Richmond as well, attended WCCUSD schools like Lincoln, Grant, Portland, and Kennedy. I am now a mother of five boys to be exact. One that was born with special needs. I've been a fierce education advocate in my community. I sat on the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee as the vice chair. I am currently the LCAP member. I've sat on ELAC, and I am on the 7-Eleven committee. I also participated in the first inaugural cohort with community schools in UCLA. I am the current chair for the Children and Youth Oversight Board for the City of Richmond, and I am a proud Emerge alumni. I believe that my participation in these spaces has given me the opportunity to learn more about policies, processes, and really how to connect with my community. Like I said, I've been a fierce voice in my community. I stand for independence, so my voice is really independent. I'm not attached to any group or special interest. I'm here on behalf of the people who are supporting me, and that's the students and community. I really am looking forward to serving the Area 2 residents, and I think that we need a better advocate to hold the superintendent accountable and to make sure that the superintendent, the incoming superintendent, really has a plan and a focus on our children's education.
Ms. Enllana, while you're there, the very first question, and you expanded on some of that as did each of you. And that question is, why are you running for the school board and what are your qualifications? You did give us some of that information. So if there's something else that you'd like to add at this point, feel free to do it.
Well, I'm running for school board because like I said, I'm a product of West Contra Costa. I also now am in the parent shoes, and I've seen how, as parents, we haven't been included in a lot of the decision making when it comes to our students' education. I really believe that in order for us to educate our students, that we need to be participants in the decisions that we are making for them. I think that we need to build community, that as parents, we need to be, our children's voice. So that's what motivates me to, like I said, run, to make sure that, we are at the table when the decisions are being made. What makes me different is my independence. So I've been a strong advocate. I really have worked tirelessly and effortlessly in the community with a lot of nonprofits, a lot of the organizations, and a lot of our school sites independently as a mother, really supporting our school sites and building out how we're engaging our families to be able to, engage our students in their education. So I believe that we are an integral part of the system. And in order for us to achieve excellence within our students, we have to continue to build that out, and I want to bring that to the board. I want to make sure that, we're taking all stakeholders' input to be able to, really produce students when we're talking about their education.
Thank you, Ms. Enllana. Same question for you, Ms. Folds. Why are you running for the school board, and what are your qualifications? You can expand upon that.
Thank you so much. I'm running for the school board because I know that service is my oxygen. I'm running for the school board because I understand the difference between campaigning and governing. I'm running for the school board because it is my job and I'm duty-bound and determined to help navigate this system. A system that wasn't created for the achievement of most of the students that go to it. So I'm running for the school board to be someone that someone can depend on. I'm running for the school board because I am not afraid to tell the truth. I'm running for the school board because I'm not afraid to challenge systems. Systems that were built to push back. I'm running for the school board because it is my way of saying, I see you, I hear you, I feel you, let's make a difference, let's make a change. I'm running for the school board for every person out there that thought that they could not run for the school board, that this was not for them. I'm running for the school board because I know what it's like to be a teacher. I'm running for the school board because I know what it's like to be an advocate and a parent volunteer every single day that your child is in school. I'm running for the school board because I understand the privilege of being able to run for the school board. This is a privilege. This is not something that everyone is able to do, but they should do. The second part of the question is what makes me different? I say no when I mean no. My no is my no and my yes is my yes. I am not lukewarm. I'm running, what makes me different is that I'm consistent. I think consistency over time equals change. I think that what makes me different, 30 seconds. What makes me different is you're not going to find anybody like me. You can't outwork me. And that's what makes me different. I am complete. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Christian, same question. Why are you running for the school board and what are your qualifications? You can expand on that.
Yes, I'm running to improve education in our school district. To say, I've been a community advocate for the city of Richmond from 2005. I was neighborhood council president of the Iron Triangle Neighborhood Council, worked tirelessly hard with our young people in the community and with the community in itself. Even when we was dealing with the violence in the community, the guns and all of that, I was out there working hard to stop the violence. And also we had the ceasefire walks. I did a lot of the ceasefire walks. So what caused me to move forward to come on this school board is to improve education. And I'm an advocate for the families. I'm an advocate for parents. I'm an advocate for all of those. Not just one particular race, but all races. I'm an advocate to help build this community and make this community a better community that for our students here in this district. And so I know about nonprofits. I worked in nonprofits myself. And you have some nonprofits for charter schools, like Healthy Richmond is for charter schools. So I'm for public education. And so with that being said, we have a lot to fight for to improve the lives of these kids in this district. I have met with many parents, with the APAC parents and many other parents, dealing with the issues and dealing with the challenges that are the most marginalized kids in this district. So we have to do a better job to hold the superintendent accountable. Yes, indeed. We got to hold the superintendent accountable. I stand for truth.
Don't worry about it.
You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. I stand by that. And so I'm fighting for truth. I'm fighting for justice to improve the lives of people and to see this district become a better district, that we become innovative in our education and that we will not lose any more kids to the charter school or losing them to other places. We want to improve education and we want to see education at the highest. I just didn't go to school just be going to school. I think for myself. I'm a leader of myself, and I will fight. And also, I was the president of the NAACP of Richmond branch. So I stand for truth, I stand for justice, and I stand for what's right. So try me, and I will deal with you. Thank you.
Well, let me try you on this next question.
All right, come on, bring it on. Bring it on.
What are the top priorities for the West Contra Costa Unified School District? The top priorities.
The top priorities is getting our budget together, making sure our budget is centered around our students, centered around making sure that our kids in the schools are being helped. Let me just say this. I'm a substitute teacher in the Oakland Unified School District, and I substitute with the 3rd grade class today. Let me just say this. Our kids are struggling, and I see it over in the Oakland School District as well. When it comes to reading, math, writing, and English, and doing all the basic necessary things. So we have to center our money to improve the education of these kids and making sure when they leave from elementary, go to middle and high school, that they're ready to go and they're ready to fly. And so you're looking at what else needs to happen. Well, we need to have innovative ways of teaching. We can't teach like we taught in the 60s, right? The 70s, the 80s. We are in more of a technology age. We need to use all the technology that we have, such as AI, and making sure that AI is being out there so our kids can learn trades. Our kids need to know the pathway of trades because we need trades to do the plumbing. We need electricians. We need those who build houses. We need those who do the job. But if our kids are not being given this opportunity, then when they do graduate, some might not go to college. So I don't know my time, yeah, so.
All right, thank you, Mr. Christian. Ms. Enllana. What are the top priorities for the West Contra Costa Unified School District?
So my priorities, first of all, I think is to make sure that we are educating our children. Making sure that our ELA scores are rising, making sure that our math scores are rising. I think that's really important because that's what brings us here to the table, to make sure that, we're focused on our children's education. Second of all, it is the budget. How do we maintain a budget, and how are we innovative about bringing in more revenue? Really making sure that we are educating, parents and the community members of the importance of attendance, making sure that our children are in school, because we are losing revenue when our children are not in school. So making that one of the priorities, as well as, how do we build up our schools so that we're not constantly losing our children to other schools. Really making sure that, we are upping the level of our schools within the district to be able to recruit more students so that they're coming in. Also focusing on our forms, the forms that we have to fill out every year, making sure that every family, regardless of their income, is filling out these forms so that we're not losing revenue. I think right now we're only like at a 75%, of these forms being, brought back into the district. So I think we need to aim for 100%. And like I said, being innovative when it comes to like how do we bring in more money into the district, looking at our facilities, how are we using our facilities to the maximum capability of, renting them out? How do we, use these facilities to be able to bring in revenue and also build community while we're talking about it? Having community use the facilities is also going to build community, is going to build pride of ownership. We want to have this engagement to where our communities are taking pride in ownership, especially when we're talking about community schools.
Thank you, Ms. Enllana. Ms. Smith Folds, what are the top priorities for the West Contra Costa Unified School District?
So the key is to understand alignment. The top priorities are already set through our strategic plan. The priorities are already set through our LCAP. The priorities are already set through our SIPSIS that happen at the school site for student achievement. Every school has one. So the board's job is to create a vision and then give that instruction over to the superintendent, and the superintendent then implements that throughout the district. The way that that's done is through the same mechanisms that I just talked about, the strategic plan, the LCAP, and the school sites for student achievement. So when we have our goals, what we are to do as board members is to help monitor and make sure that those goals are being implemented. But the goals have already been set. We have input. When the LCAP comes up every 3 years, we have input. We had input on the strategic plan. We attended the meetings. We ensured that the superintendent was in alignment with us. We also set the superintendent goals. That's part of the alignment that sets the goals for the district. So again, one of the things that we have to understand is the governance behind being a school board member. We also move as three. We can't just have our individual way of doing it. We have to move as three. There's 5 of us, we move by majority. When we did that, we moved by majority when we said yes to the strategic plan. We moved by majority when we said yes to the LCAP. We moved by majority when we vote in the SPSAs. All of those things are the alignment to say, we hear the goals, we see the goals, we support the goals, and we do that through budget. We support the goals through listening to the expert in the room, which is the superintendent that we hire. That's our only employee. And then we move through the resources and the strategies to help navigate the entire community. In this district, we have said community schools is a priority. We see it in the strategic plan, we see it in the LCAP, we see it in the SPSAs. We said anti-racism is a priority. This is how we continue to make sure that those goals are implemented and successful. I am complete.
So while I have you here,
Okay.
we're going to pose another question.
Okay.
And that question pertains to leadership transition. What is the board's role this year as the superintendent retires in December? What will you do as a board member to support the West Contra Costa community and the interim superintendent during this transition?
I think what we do wrong in this district is we don't have exit interviews. We don't ask why are we leaving? What could we have done better? What do we need to do in the future? That's from the very top all the way to our teachers or our parents that are leaving. What I do is I like to be in communication. So what could we have done better as a board? Only person that I can control is myself. And then I can set a standard for other board members. What do we do? Are we inundating the superintendent with 565,895 emails to where all he or she is doing is answering our questions? Are we going to our one-on-ones, which is what we set up to have that space to ask the questions and answer the questions? Are we supporting the superintendent in their decisions? Are we respectfully pushing back? Are we asking the right questions at the board meetings? Because that's our job and that's our way that we give out information. Are we doing our due diligence as board members? What I'm doing to support the next interim superintendent is very much what I did to support the current superintendent, is to be a good leader. To be a good, strong leader and to say, hey, I'm here, what do you need, how can I help, where are we going, and what can I do to support you? When we're looking for our next permanent superintendent, we all elected the first superintendent when we first got elected in 2020. I think we did a good job, but when you know more, you do more, right? So now we have different questions that we can ask. Now we have different ways of approaching the search, because we didn't do it, we didn't know before, right? And I think that one of the things that we also do as good leadership is you don't throw anybody under the bus. Leading a district of 55 plus schools, 25,000 plus students, thousands of employees is not easy for anybody. To be able to get up and do this every single day means that everybody's got to take their foot off somebody's neck and say, how can I help, not point a finger at blame. I'm complete.
Thank you for your response. Mr. Christian, come on up. Again, the question is, what is the board's role on this year as the superintendent retires in December? What will you do as a board member to support the West Contra Costa community and the interim superintendent during this transition?
All right, thank you. One of the biggest things is communication with everything that's transpiring right now. So you're looking at the superintendent leaving, we have an interim that will be taking over. So the whole thing about this is communication with the community, the communication with everybody, the workers in the district, the teachers, the classified, all the workers. Everything has to have great communication. And we have to be transparent. And as we look for the next superintendent, there's a lot that was just said from our colleague. President Smith Folds just said that, our first one was in 2020, and it's a lot that we learned. It's a lot that we gained. And now, what the saying is, when you learn better, you do better. And so, that's a principle. And when you gain the insight, now you know how to make it happen. When we look for the next superintendent, we have to have communication with the parents, with the community, everybody, and bring everybody on board so that when we do choose the next superintendent, everybody will be on the same page. So we have to do our due diligence to really bring the community and bring everybody together. And so, here we are, as we face with a lot of challenges that we're going to be experiencing. And so it's a matter of how that we are steady on the ship. Even though the ship is rocking to the left, to the right, then I'm going to stay on the ship because the ship is salvation. The ship is salvation. You jump over, you're going to jump in the water, you're going to drown. But as long as you stay on the ship, you will be saved. And so as here we are as the board, meeting these challenges, we have to do diligence to be the light and the guidance to point people in the right direction. So it's the communication connected to all the parents in this district as we choose the next superintendent. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Christian. Mrs. Enllana, I'll read the question for you again also. What is the board's role this year as the superintendent retires in December? What will you do as a board member to support the West Contra Costa community and the interim superintendent during this transition?
Well, I think Jamela gave a clear statement of the systems and the way things are done. But what I will do, I think, is making sure that we have stakeholders at the table when it comes to picking our superintendent. Making sure that we are, all hearing different stakeholders and that we are part of the process. I think we have to start early on making sure that we are communicating and that we are bringing in a superintendent that's gonna hold the values and that we're giving them clear direction. So I think really making sure that when they start off, we're giving clear direction of what our asks are, what our hopes are, and what we are expecting him to do. So, really making sure that we're doing that part and also focusing more on the transparency of things. I keep hearing about mistakes that are done, things that we could have did different, but I think sometimes we have to acknowledge those mistakes to be able to move forward. So once we acknowledge, this wasn't the right way we did things and we're gonna do them different, that brings on those conversations that we need to all be on the same track. So the only thing that I can say I can do different is really making sure that we're bringing stakeholders into the hiring process of the superintendent, that, we're giving him, like I said, clear direction, and that we are starting this off by making sure that he's aligned to what our priorities are.
I want you to hold on for a second. The next question is going to pertain to LCAP, and for the benefit of our audiences that's present, as well as the audience viewing, we're going to define LCAP so they understand a lot of acronyms in schools and so on and so forth. So LCAP is the Local Control and Accountability Plan. It's a tool for local educational agencies to set goals, plans, actions, and leverage resources to meet those goals to improve student outcomes. So that's what LCAP is. The question is, how do you envision the West Contra Costa Unified School District leveraging the Local Control Accountability Plan, the LCAP, to address the specific needs of our district students, particularly in terms of academic achievement and resource allocation?
So as a city member of the LCAP for many, many years, I think one of the things that the district hasn't done well has been really that communication part. When it comes to the LCAP's a small percentage of the budget, but it's a really significant one that if it doesn't get passed, then we can't pass our budget. And that happened this, last, a couple months ago. We weren't able to pass a budget because our LCAP wasn't passed. And it wasn't passed because, we as parents felt that we didn't have part in the process of getting the questions answered that we really needed to make a recommendation on. So I believe that in order for us to, really move on the LCAP piece, is going to make sure that we are, really communicating and, adhering to the ask. We can't ask people to make recommendations when the data's not there. We can't ask people to come to the table when we're not giving them the information. So we need to be really transparent and stop underestimating the power of parents and what we understand. I think we have a lot of capabilities of being able to partner up and push this district forward as volunteers, as parents. So it's like, don't underestimate us or the power that we hold to be able to partner up and move the LCAP. So I think, really making sure that we're looking at data sources on programs, the programs being directly funded through the LCAP, to be able to make those decisions on, is it something that we're going to move forward with or not, so that the next time the LCAP comes around, we're all on board and we're all sitting there together saying, this is what we've worked together, in conjunction, and, it's going to be something that, we're going to keep building out.
Thank you, Ms. Enllana. Ms. Christian, we need to hear from you about LCAP.
All right.
How do you envision West Contra Costa Unified School District leveraging the Local Control Accountability Plan to address the specific needs of district students, particularly in terms of academic achievement and resource allocation?
Yes, sir. Yeah, LCAP plays a major role in our school district or any other school district. We had the LCAP come before us at the board meeting, and 2 voted no and 1 abstained. I abstained. The reason why I abstained because there was no clarity on how the LCAP was going to be used. So I got with the parents and many others, and they conversed forth back with me. And what I brought forward was a resolution to put together that the LCAP would be used on the most marginalized students in this district. Area 2 has the most marginalized students, and Area 2 needs those resources to help our kids in the elementary level, to help our kids to have a better, stronger foundation so that they can matriculate to middle school and matriculate to high school. So the LCAP is very important. And so when you look at the most marginalized people that lives in Area 2, we want to make sure that the resources are getting out there, to those areas. So we put a resolution together, an amendment to the LCAP, and then we passed the LCAP, where now, the LCAP, the budget and so forth. So, with that being said, we have a lot to do when it comes to resources. Resources is the key element that will, if we do it right, we can't go wrong. And as a board member, as board members, if we do things right, we can't go wrong because we are investing into the lives of the young people. Because the young people needs the resources to help them to go to the next level. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Christian. Ms. Smith Folds, on the LCAP question again. How do you envision the West Contra Costa Unified School District leveraging the local control accountability plan to address the specific needs of our district students, particularly in terms of academic achievement and resource allocation?
The LCAP is a tool that the district uses to do exactly what you just said. To increase student achievement, to do looking at the conditions of learning for our students and conditions of learning for our teachers, working conditions. So to use the LCAP, what I believe the district needs to do is use the tool. I think that one of the things that this board has done is to ensure that the LCAP has been revamped in such a way that it is easily digestible. Because the problem was that it wasn't before. So this district and our CAOs and our CPO and all the cabinet and the superintendent has said, let's wait, put a pause. How do we make this digestible for anybody to pick up this LCAP and realize that it's a tool that's going to be used throughout the district? And that's what was done. One, to the credit of the district is we were probably at this point, I really forgot the word for it, but it's one of those things like a template. We're a template. Our district was used now as a template to, the county said, okay, this was done really well. If you broke it down and you put pen to paper, as they say, so anyone can pick it up and read the LCAP. I think that's what we do as a district, is you make it digestible and you use it as a tool that it was created for. I am complete.
Well, hold on for a minute. We're going to give you the next question.
Okay.
And it's a really important and critical question.
Okay.
It's addressing teacher shortages.
Okay.
The teacher shortage is a pressing issue across our state. What specific measures do you propose to attract and retain high-quality teachers in our district?
I think that one of the things that we as a school board, we put inside of our evaluation of the superintendent, HR, which is human resources. And inside human resources, we said that we want to retain and recruit high-quality teachers. So again, we set the vision as the board. We say this is what we want. Now you may have something that comes across our desk like a PMP, right? Or you may have something that comes across our desk like how are you increasing the sub-pay? You may have something that comes across our desk as how are you able to give bonuses to the teachers that we have? How are you becoming attractive to outside teachers? Everybody needs a teacher. You can throw a rock and hit a school that needs a teacher. How is WCCUSD the place that they want to come to work? Well, that's something that we can then sit down and have a conversation about how do we value our teachers. But that's working with our labor partners and saying, hey, what do you need? You cannot serve someone unless you ask what their needs are. And that's what the school board can do is say, what do you need? How can we help? How do we then implement that in HR? So that's one of the ways. The second thing is we speak our needs. We speak our needs and we be very clear. We don't just want a warm body, but we're looking for a black male who speaks Spanish. We're looking for a female who is in math, in STEAM, so representation matters. We're looking for retaining teachers through compensation. We're looking for retaining teachers through value. If you've ever been to a school, take a box of donuts and see everybody light up like, oh my gosh, somebody's thinking about me. Imagine if those donuts were dollars. I'm complete.
Thank you. Mr. Christian, addressing teacher shortages.
Yes, sir.
Teacher across our state, what specific measures do you propose to attract and retain high-quality teachers in our district?
Thank you for that question. One of the things I would like, well, actually what I'm working on now is what it's called teacher workforce housing. Teacher workforce housing is a vehicle that is being used throughout the state of California. State Superintendent Tony Thurman, our Governor Gavin Newsom, all support workforce housing because if you have affordable workforce housing, and so what we want to do is take and use our properties that what we have. We have Adams, we have Pinot, we have Seaview, we have properties to use to build workforce housing and to be able to attract teachers to our area that is affordable because the cost of living is high, everything is so high, but if we can get affordable housing, and that way as we go out and do searches for teachers and bringing them in, they will have somewhere to come and retain, and also looking at having good teachers. When you have good teachers, they will invest into the young people. Good teachers will give our young people the tools they need to go to the next level. So as teachers, we are in a shortage, but we got to think outside the box. And like I say, workforce housing is another vehicle that will be great for us. You have San Francisco School District, you have Daly City, you have Oakland Unified School District, you have all of those who are working on teacher workforce housing. Look it up. Look it up. But the workforce housing is a great vehicle through the CSBCA of California. And so we have to really look for African American teachers because we don't have many African American teachers around here. I can tell you that by working in the Oakland School District, and I know we don't have them here in this district, but we need to recruit from the historical black colleges, from Howard, Hampton, Spelman. We need to go out and bring some of them here in this area as well, so our kids, can identify as well. But we want to attract all teachers, all background, all nationalities, so that way we can have a diverse community of teachers that care about education, because education is the gateway to the next part of life. And if we do it right, when these kids graduate from high school, man, they will go to the next level. So we got to do our due diligence to work and find great teachers. And that's what I'm doing now, is searching. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Christian. Ms. Enllana, same question, addressing the teacher shortage. The teacher shortage is a pressing issue across the state. What specific measures do you propose to attract and retain high-quality teachers in our district?
I think attracting teachers is going to be really based on the support that we're giving our teachers in-house, making sure that, we're not just, we're always saying we're looking for great teachers, but I feel we have many great teachers. I feel that just, WCCUSD is just not supporting them in the way that we're being able to retain them. So making sure that, we are giving our teachers the support they need in the classrooms, really partnering them up, in mentorships with seasonal teachers. We have many new teachers coming in, first-year teachers, coming in, really wanting to do the work. I think, having them in a space where we have seasoned teachers, really mentoring our newer teachers. That's going to help build community within the teachers as well, and, support them. When it's really necessary that we have teachers as well, that we make it to where we're hiring teachers that look like our kids, that our kids are being able to see themselves in the teachers, that they're able to connect, that they're able to find mentors and leaders within our own teachers, and that the teachers are actually understanding the community that they're serving, that they're culturally, accepting the community, and that they're able to guide our students. I think it's not just a system of education, but really making sure that our teachers are a resemblance of what we want to achieve within our students. So that means teachers that look like our students, retention by making sure that we're supporting our teachers in the classroom, and really emphasizing on having them be that guide that our students need when it comes to looking and being able to collaborate with our students and families.
And you get the next question too. This pertains to community involvement. How will you engage parents and the community in the development and evaluation of the LCAP to ensure that it reflects the needs and priorities of our families?
I think we've been, for many years, we've tried to do everything in-house. I think that there's many great partnerships out there with a lot of the local community organizations that are doing the work. I think we need to find leverage within those organizations to help us really build out a system, especially around educating our parents around the LCAP. And even basic school knowledge, what are the SSCs? Really having them gain information and the education on that side. Leveraging, like I said, a lot of the local non-profits and organizations that are already doing the work. We have to really build out a community school setting where the community is not divided, where we're not, where we're making sure that we're not in school and it's one thing and then the community outside is doing another. It really has to be based upon partnerships, and that's where I come in. I've been doing a lot of educating our parents around the LCAP, making sure that they understand those systems, working with the local organizations in the community to be able to produce more parent leaders, because that's what we want. We want to see leadership so that we can organize, so that we know the voices, so that we know the community that we're serving, and then we're able to come together and really, produce educated children. So, partnerships is something that I hold dear to my heart, and making sure that, we are working with that, 100%, and, not just taking this all on ourselves. So really having a system in place to where we're working with, like I said, local organizations, local community members, to be able to move things forward.
Thank you, Ms. Enllana. Ms. Smith Folds. Once again, the teacher shortage question. Teacher shortage is a pressing issue across our state. Yeah.
We on the LCAP question.
Oh, community involvement. I thank you for that.
That's all right, friend.
I'm not as young as I used to be. Community involvement. How will you engage parents and the community in the development and evaluation of the LCAP to ensure it reflects the needs and priorities of our families?
I think you can do a 4-tier approach. I think that the LCAP coming back to the board several different times throughout the year helps get the message out. It helps create the conversation. I think ensuring that our principals are using the LCAP when they're having their school site councils. I think that making sure that board members are educated about what the LCAP is, so when we go out and we have discussions, that we're providing accurate information. And the final one is, I think, we build up our PACs, which are parent advisory councils. Those parent advisory councils are those people that then go back to your site and spread that knowledge from person to person to person. So it's creating a huge bandwidth around one topic. You see us doing it with the budget, because we have now a budget subcommittee, and we're bringing everyone to the table with our labor partners, and we're breaking down the budget in bite-sized pieces and ensuring that everyone understands it. Take that same model of creating an education plan around what happens in the district and use it for everything, including the LCAP. Use it for everything, including how governance works at the board level. Use it for everything, including how the budget works, including how our CPOC works, including how our other PACs work. It's an educational system, and we have to keep educating. I am complete.
Thank you. Has everybody had that question? Your turn? Did you get it? Yes. Everybody had it?
Nope, Christian has to go.
I didn't think so. Come on. Sometimes you just have to check.
I wish you would have some water up here. Anyway, I'm sorry. It's been a long day at an open school district. When it comes to the LCAP, that's a great part. Stakeholders, partnership, all of the connecting points that we all have to work with the community, and that parents are educated on how the LCAP works. And that the parents, and hear the voices of the parents, don't turn a deaf ear to the parents, because the parent plays a major role as a stakeholder in this school district. So the LCAP, we have to do our due diligence from the superintendent to all the cabinet and the board. We all have to make sure that we connect to the community and share with the community, so the community will always be involved with the LCAP. And so, as you know, like I said earlier, we have put stipulation on the LCAP, a resolution, amendment, to make sure that the LCAP is servicing the most marginalized kids in this district. And I'm happy that I got with the parents and we conversed and we put it together. And so we have to just continue to make sure that we do our due diligence to inform and educate and build a relationship instead of being divided. But together we stand, but divided we fall. Thank you.
I'm going to ask you, Mr. Christian, I'm going to ask you to take a dry swallow and go for this next question. Now, this is pre-K and transitional kindergarten support. What steps will you take to expand and improve pre-K and transitional kindergarten programs to ensure they provide a strong foundation for our youngest learners?
Yes, that is the crucial foundation. We have to have a support system, such as, I call them coaches or mentors, to work with our young population and to help our young population from, and having diverse people working to help our school students in the preschool and the kindergarten level. Because if we pour into them and build positive things, reinforce the positive, those kids will grow, because they're like sponges. They soak in the water. So they like sponges. And so we have to make sure as the board, that we allocate those resources that will be going to the elementary level, because the elementary level is the gateway to middle school and high school. If we don't do that, then you have a lot of kids who don't know how to read, write, and and so forth, math. We have to give and put in so these kids will be able to make it. Thank you.
And the great John Gosney, who's doing a great job recording this forum, has provided water for everybody. Thank you, John. Next question is going to be that same question for you, Ms. Smith Folds. You need to take a sip of water first?
No, I'm good.
You're ready to roll. You need me to read the question for you again?
Sure.
Okay. Pre-K and transitional kindergarten support. What steps will you take to expand and improve pre-K and transitional kindergarten programs to ensure they provide a strong foundation for our youngest learners?
So the superintendent talks about something called the 30 million word gap. So the 30 million word gap is where you have some kids coming in not knowing what other kids know at that young age, at the very beginning of their education system. And that sets them back by 30 million words. So what will I do? Here's the thing. The state said everybody do TK. And then they didn't give any supports for that. They didn't give any facility support. They didn't give any. If you know TK, they're this big. And if you're trying to get them to sit on the toilet that's this big, you're going to have a problem. So we're looking at how do we look at our facilities? How do we look at the funding to make sure that the facilities match the needs of the students? If you have never volunteered in a TK or kindergarten classroom, I say that you have not lived the life of a teacher. Those are the most special people in the world because they chose that group of kids. And we need to support not only the kids, the parents, but we don't do a kindergarten readiness test. So everybody kind of flushes in, and you have kids that are reading by themselves, you have kids that can't tie their shoes, you have kids that have separation anxiety from their parents, you have kids that don't know what the standards are, or their parents know what the standards are, kids that cannot sit still. You have this vast array of children in one spot, and then you don't have enough adults in the room. So what do I want to do with the TK and the K program? I can't do anything but work with the superintendent and say, listen, I know that you know this. Look look at what we have in each one of our departments, not only our curriculum, but our facilities, not only our facilities, but our budget, not only our budget, but special ed. Not only special ed, but our other department like security and safety. They be wildin'. I volunteer in TK all the time, and every time I gotta walk out and take a whole bottle of Tylenol because I'm not built for it anymore. My youngest child is 12 years old. So having the right people in the right place and supporting them is key to taking our program to the next level. But the biggest thing that we have to realize is this is the beginning. We have to get it right at the very beginning. I am complete.
Thank you. Ms. Enllana, once again, the question is pre-K and transitional kindergarten support. What steps will you take to expand and improve pre-K and transitional kindergarten programs to ensure they provide a strong foundation for our youngest learners?
Well, I think Jamila took my answer. She said it perfectly the way I would have. But on another hand, I truly believe that we need to do outreach to our lowest performing subgroups and making sure that they are given that access to preschool and TK. Really making sure that we are making sure that they're part of the process, that the families are understanding the importance of pre-K so that they're, getting that education on early on and the supports really early on so that when they're in kindergarten, in first grade, they seem to be they're at the level where they need to be. So I think really making sure that we are bringing them in, educating them, and really making a space for our lower performing students to come in really early on into these programs so that they're accessible to the community as well. Making sure that they're accessible, making sure that we're working with the families in, some of the barriers that they might have when it comes to, their kids participating in pre-K and kindergarten. So I really think it's gonna be, from my side, more of the informing and having a plan of outreach to our lower performing students so that once they come into these programs, then we're actually supporting them to get them to where they need to be by the time they reach kindergarten.
Thank you, Ms. Enllana. This forum was set up to run 1 hour long. We started at 6 o'clock, it's 6:53 now. Each of you will have 2 minutes for your closing statements. So if anybody needs to get a sip of water before your closing statement, you might want to do that now. And then we'll be calling you each up for your 2-minute closing statement. Everybody all good? So we'll just go right down the line. We'll start with you, Otheree Christian. 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Hello, once again, my name is Otheree Christian, and I'm running for the West Country Costa Unified School District School Board. I'm an incumbent, and I'm running for my re-election, and so I am supported by California State Superintendent Tony Thurman. I'm supported by Nancy Skinner. I'm supported by the building trades. I'm supported by the Labor Council. I'm supported by United Teachers of Richmond. I'm supported by Teamsters 856. I am supported by all of these people because they believe in me and they know that I can do the job, and they really want to see me in this position to help build the West Country Costa Unified School District, to make West Country Costa Unified School District a better district. I worked tirelessly over the years. I worked with our young people in the city of Richmond. I worked in the neighborhood as a neighborhood council president in NAACP. I've been part of many things. I've been a case manager. I worked in Dallas, Texas before I located back to here. I've done a lot of things across the country, from Washington, D.C. to Dallas, Texas, and back to Richmond, California. So my spirit comes with me. I'm no joke. I care. If I didn't care, I would not be in this position, period. So I care, and I humbly see you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Christian. Ms. Smith Folds.
Thank you for this opportunity to come in front of you tonight and to discuss the West Country Costa Unified School District. I've left some things out, so I'll take my 2 minutes just to kind of build on some things that I left out. We have a dynamic preschool program in West Contra Costa Unified School District. The way that our preschool program is set up is amazing. If we take that that and we just multiply that in our transitional kindergarten and our kindergarten, you will see a shift. If we educate our parents about what is necessary and what they can do for their youngest learners, you'll see a shift. But we need to start that education when the baby is in the womb. So it's one of those things, when we go to the doctor's offices and the clinics, let's have some pamphlets that say, hey, 5 years comes quick. We'll see you in 3 years now because they're moving it down to preschool. So what can you do in the meantime? That's one of the strategies that we can do. The other thing that we talked about tonight is, what does governance look like with the school board? Governance is a complex beast, but governance is what we are charged to do. We are charged to make very hard decisions with a whole lot of information that a lot of the times the community doesn't have, because we get it in closed session. We get things confidentially. We get things that we can't talk about because of HR issues. So what are we looking for is, in the trustee, we're looking for the trust. You have to be able to trust us as your trustee to get all of that information and make a really firm decision that's in the best interest of all students and the best interest of all employees. It's not easy doing this job, but we stand on the shoulders, I know I stand on the shoulders of the black women that did this job before me. And I call out Elaine Merriweather, who did this job before me and showed me the way to do it. I call on the shoulders of other black women who are in the school board and work and are in elected official positions. It's not easy. But what I hold on to, what I would only like to express the best way I can, is this has been a privilege of a lifetime. And I'm thankful that the residents of Area 1 gave me enough trust to be able to do it again for another 4 years. I am complete.
Thank you, Ms. Smith Folds. Ms. Enllana.
Well, once again, my name is Guadalupe Enllana, and I am running for the WCCUSD Board of Trustees for area number 2 to represent the Richmond area. Well, what makes me different? I think what makes me different is my independent voice. You know, and I'm running because I really feel that District 2 needs a better advocate when it comes to our students. You know, we need to have a person on the board that's going to make a decision, that's going to have a direction, and that's going to have a voice and stand to it. That's not going to continue to abstain. That's not going to continue to just ride the middle ground. That's really going to say, have a yes when it's time to have a yes, and have a no when it's time to have a no. This just brings me to running for the board. You know, I want to make sure that our voices are being heard as parents. I want to continue to build on the relationships that I have, and really bring together the community without dividing. I think there's a lot of division, and I think that's something that it always goes far in divide and conquer, but I think we need to start unifying people if we're gonna make, you know, any position, if we're gonna educate our students and get them onto the right direction. I believe that we can make things happen when it comes to changing the system that, and the place that as parents we hold on the board. I am here and I'm accessible. I want to make sure that people understand that I'm not doing this as an I, we're doing this as a we. Because I am supported as well. I have been endorsed by many community leaders, but I think that my commitment and my work stands on its own. Because you could Google me. So really make sure that, you know, when you're out there looking, look at the work that we're standing, you know, firm on. Look at the direction that we're holding our values. And then base it on, you know, if this is someone who you really think is going to be the accurate representation of your students and of the families in this district. We in Area 2 have the lowest performing schools. So we need to change that. We need to make sure that we're moving the needle in a positive direction to be able to give our children a chance to succeed in their education and in their future. That's why I asked you to vote for Lupe Enllana when it comes to November 5th, because we need a change. We need to have a voice and a direct voice and a commitment to our students.
Thank you, Ms. Enllana. Let's give all of our candidates a round of applause. Now, my understanding is there will be one more candidate forum taking place later this month, and a firm date will be coming forward on that and location. So with that, we certainly thank you all for coming out this evening and participating. We thank the League of Women Voters of West Contra Costa, represented this evening, particularly by the president, Cheryl Collier. West Contra Costa Unified School District, represented this evening by the superintendent who's here in the audience, Chris Hurst. So it's been great. and we'll see you at the next forum. Thank you, Don Gosney, for recording, as you usually do. And that concludes our program.